Warning, now entering Dark Zone.
The Dark Zone, a lawless area where no one could be trusted, a key feature that made the Division game what it is. In the Division 1, the Dark Zone was a large area in the centre of New York, a still, silent and eerie area, full of roaming gangs, loot, and of course, rogues. In this video, I want to talk a little about the Dark Zone in the Division 2, and how it's evolved and changed. A huge change to the Dark Zone compared to the Division 1 is that instead of having one large area to explore, we've been given three, roughly the size of 2 or 3 sections of the old Dark Zone. Dark Zone East, Dark Zone West, and Dark Zone South. DZ East is the largest of the 3 zones, full of large, overgrown, open parks, with some great sniping opportunities. DZ South is the smallest zone, forcing you into close quarters combat with other players. And DZ West is split into 2 pieces by a large canal, ideal for mid-range combat. Each of these having their own specific feel and atmosphere. From large open spaces, where taking cover is a vital part of surviving, to tight streets and alleyways, where knowing the map is the only way to succeed. As well as the Dark Zone being split into 3, we've also had the server size halved, meaning unlike the Division 1, which had 24 players per server, each of the 3 Division 2 Dark Zones will only have a server size of 12. This should make life a lot easier for manhunts. In all of these areas, VoIP has been disabled in order to try and contain some of the toxicity that the Dark Zone has been known for. Friendly fire is also still disabled, meaning you will have to toggle rogue just like we're all used to in the Division 1. As a brand new feature, all 3 Dark Zones will now have gear normalization, much like we've seen in Last Stand and Skirmish. Personally, I have mixed feelings about this feature. For PvP in the Dark Zone, it's going to make it a lot more fair. So if you have fully optimised gear versus someone who's fairly new to the game, it's ultimately skill that will decide the winner. But on the other hand, the reason I enjoyed the grind for gear so much was in order to get stronger and better to defend myself in the Dark Zone. So I'm a little bit worried that adding gear normalization to the Dark Zone means it might diminish the grind a little bit for a few people. But only time will tell. Landmarks still exist within the Dark Zone, only now they're known as monuments. There has also been a few screenshots floating around showing catacombs and wrecks on the radar, using a similar logo as the old landmarks, meaning these could also be PvE areas. But so far nothing has been confirmed. If you're a fan of the old Dark Zone, back before the days of Rogue 2.0, I have some good news for you. There will be a new style of Dark Zone called the Occupied Zone. This will be active in one of the 3 Dark Zones at a time. During the time one of the Dark Zones is occupied, friendly fire will be enabled in this area, so there'll be no need to toggle rogue. Also, gear normalization will be disabled, so you'll be using the gear you have equipped in the Dark Zone as it was when you entered. This makes for a much more dangerous area, with a much larger risk. But with that risk comes greater reward. While that Dark Zone is occupied, the drops in that area will be much greater than the other 2. Hopefully this will give us a feel of the old style Dark Zone, where no one can be trusted and you always had to watch your back. Only one Dark Zone will be occupied at a time, but this will rotate through each Dark Zone. I'm unaware how long this will be live. It could be an hour, a day, or even a week until it moves to the next area. Another quite noticeable change, that you will either love or hate, is the addition of turrets at the Dark Zone entrances that will target rogues. This has been put into place to try and stop rogue players camping at the checkpoints. I didn't see this as too much of an issue in the Division 1, since you could simply quick travel to a different checkpoint. But I do think this is something that will make new players feel safer, and more likely to try out the Dark Zone themselves, knowing they have a safe place to retreat to. It also ends the never-ending chases of the Division 1. If you have a piece of loot you really want, all you have to do is survive long enough to get back to a checkpoint. Moving on to rogues. In the new Dark Zones, we'll see a small change coming to rogues, in the form of a new rogue status. This is represented by a grey skull. In this new form of rogue, it'll be active once you toggle, or commit a petty crime, such as stealing from a downed player, or taking the content of a supply drop for yourself. but once you've killed another player, you will be flagged as disavowed. This is the rogue we all know and love, represented by a red skull. And just like the Division 1, after you've killed 5 players, you're set to Manhunt, shown with a yellow skull. As a side note, when you toggle rogue with the grey skull, you will not show up on the map, compared to disavowed or Manhunt. While players are rogue with the grey skull, they will now have their own shelters known as Thieves' Dens. When they enter, this will clear their rogue status and give them access to special vendors, as well as be able to load their weapon with a clip of shock ammo. This gives players a little bit more of an incentive to go rogue, compared to the Division 1. I like the idea of having more to do when you're flagged rogue, but I'm not 100% sure about the shock ammo. This is something I can see being removed or altered not long after launch. And that's all for this video. What do you think of the changes to the Dark Zone and rogue mechanics? Are you happy about the Dark Zone being split into 3? Let us know in the comments below. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe for more Division 2 content. See you in the next one.